Hadhramaut. Tarim is a historic town situated in the Hadhramaut Valley of South Yemen, in the southern part of the Arabian Peninsula. Tarim is widely acknowledged as the theological, juridical, and academic center of the Hadhramaut Valley. It is considered an important focus in Islamic education. It is estimated to contain the highest concentration of and descendants of the Prophet Muhammad anywhere in the world. The city is distinguished for producing numerous Islamic scholars, including Imam al-Haddad. Additionally, Tarim is also home to Dar al-Mustafa, a well-known educational institute for the study of traditional Islamic sciences. Sultanate of al-Rashid, or the Emirate of Bani Khatun. The Sultanate was established in Tarim, which was founded by Khatun bin al-Aum in the year 400 AH. Its origin was after the collapse of the rule of the Abadi Imamate or the Abadi Caliphate in Hadhramaut, and western Yemen was during that period under the rule of the Banu Najjar al-Abash in Tihama and the Sulaydids in Sana'a, who were affiliated with the Fatimid state in Egypt at the time. Qism is one of the villages in the city of Tarim in the Tarim district of Hadhramaut Governorate. Its population reached 2,757, according to the 2004 Yemeni census. Qism is located in a province between Al-Nakra and Hud's Grave in the middle of Hadhramaut. This province includes Qism, Alsum and Fagma. It can also be assumed that it was a war zone in the past because of the amount of reinforced worn-down castles. One of those castles is the Al-Ar castle, which contains old paintings and writings. One of the German scientists has studied the paintings in Berlin and he has deciphered them. He thinks that the people of Hadhramaut had the characteristics of soldiers from early ages, and according to his studies, the province and its kings were mentioned in the historic Sheba paintings. Several sites indicate that Hud's tomb is located in a mosque in the village of Tarim in Hadhramaut, about 140 kilometers north of Mukalla. Many people make frequent visits to the grave site in addition to holding certain religious rituals, and the number of visitors reached 22,000 in December 2004. Muhammad ibn Yusuf al-Tabib al-Harawi referred to these visits as he described the door of the mosque, and the western side on which the Hud rock he climbed to invite people to pray, and he referred to the Bahut cave located at the bottom of the valley. Ancient ruins and various inscriptions were found in the area and around the grave. Shibam Hadhramaut. It is a town in Yemen. With about 7,000 inhabitants, it is the seat of the district of Shibam in the Governorate of Hadhramaut. Known for its mud brick-made high-rise buildings, it is referred to as the Chicago of the Desert or Manhattan of the Desert. The first known inscription about the city dates from the 3rd century CE. It was the capital of the Hadhramaut Kingdom. In the 20th century, it was one of the 3 major cities of the Kuwaiti Sultanate, the others being Al-Mukalla and Ash-Shi. The city was listed with the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1982. In 2008, a tropical cyclone flooded Shibam. During the Yemen civil war, the city suffered some damage after insurgents detonated a car bomb. There was also coalition bombing in the area. In 2015, UNESCO listed the city as Cultural Heritage at Risk. Shibam, which is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is known for its distinct architecture. The houses of Shibam are all made out of mud brick, and about 500 of them are tower blocks, which rise 5 to 11 stories high, with each floor having 1 or 2 rooms. This architectural style was used in order to protect residents from Bedouin attacks. While Shibam has been in existence for an estimated 1,700 years, most of the city's houses originate from the 16th century. Many, though, have been rebuilt numerous times in the last few centuries. The city is surrounded by a fortified wall, giving it the name, the Walled City of Shibam. The archaeological city of Ribban. The ruins of the city of Ribban are located to the southwest of the Yemeni city of Sayun, about 94 kilometers below Wadi Doan, and it is considered one of the oldest historical cities in the Hadhramaut Valley. Its area exceeds 10 hectares. The history of this city dates back to before the 7th century BC, and settlement continued until the 1st centuries AD. Excavations, research and archaeological studies by the Yemeni Soviet Archaeological Mission took place in the period from 83–1988 AD in the ruins of this city. It concluded that the city's residents practiced agriculture and animal husbandry, and built beautiful residential complexes especially for their religious activities, such as temples, and all the lands surrounding the city were covered with irrigation networks, canals, dams, and water basins, all indicating prosperity that reached its peak. The most important features of the city in which the archaeological excavations were carried out are as follows. The Temple of the God Dhati Hammam. This temple consists of a devotional complex that includes 4 buildings, the foundations of which were built from stones and their walls from wooden structures that filled their voids with clay to make the walls strong. Clay is the main building material in Hadhramaut since before the 7th century BC. The walls of this temple were built with this material, and it is distinguished by its lightness and strong cohesion, and clay was not only the only material, but wood had an important place in building walls and ceilings. Temple of the god Sin. The temple is located in the west of the city, at a distance of 2 kilometers from its center, and it is the main temple of the city. The other was built to the north of the first, and at the foot of the mountain there are ruins of stone and mud buildings that were probably attached to the temple.